Hey y'all, hope you're all doing great. Would you like to hear a story? Of course, they would like to hear a story. Who doesn't like stories? Just tell it, dude. Alright, let's get to it. There was once a jobless man who applied for a position as an office boy in an ordinary company. The HR manager interviewed him, then watched him cleaning the floor as a test, and then said, "You're employed. Give me your email address, and I'll send you the application to fill in, as well as the date that you'd like to start." The man replied, "But I do not have a computer nor an email." "I'm sorry," said the HR manager. "If you do not have an email, that means you don't exist. And if you don't exist, you cannot have this job." The man left quite disheartened. He didn't know what to do. But he did not give up hope. He trusted that if he did his best with what he had, God would surely see him through. So he kept his hope up that God would only want the best for him. So with like $10 in his pocket, he decided to go to the supermarket and buy 10 kgs of tomato. Then he sold those tomatoes door to door, and in less than 2 hours he had doubled the amount of money he put in. He repeated the operation 2 more times and he returned home with $80. The man realized that he can survive this way. So he started early every morning and returned late. Thus, this way he doubled, sometimes tripled, the money that he put in. Shortly he bought a cart, then a truck, and then he had his own fleet of delivery vehicles. 5 years later, the man became one of the biggest food retailers in his country. He started to plan his family's future. He decided to have life insurance. He called an insurance broker and chose a protection plan. When the deal was concluded, the broker asked him for his email. The man replied, "I do not have an email." The broker answered curiously, "You do not have an email? And yet have succeeded to build an empire? Can you imagine what you could have been if you had an email?" The man thought for a while and replied, "Yes, I'd be an office boy in an ordinary company." Wow, what a guy. What a guy. But do you see the power of trusting in God, doing your best, and then clinging on to something as powerful as hope that He will see you through, no matter what it is? So many people live life so afraid of failure. If one thing doesn't work out, they either give up or cling to that thing that never worked out, living by the norms of this world, when God has called you to so much more. Some of us, we are afraid to die. Why? We are Christians, we are saved, we are going to heaven. The fact is, when we all get to heaven, we're going to be like, "My gosh, I wish I could have come here sooner." I'm not saying that you should all want to die right now. Tomorrow someone will be like, this Calvin, he's telling us to die. He wants us to die. Whew. Not at all. What I'm saying is we shouldn't be afraid to because of where we are headed. There's a story of 2 men who were about to die at the same time. The first was a rich man at his home, and his last words were, "I feel so sad to leave this home." The second was a poor man out on the street, and his last words were, "I feel so glad that I'm finally going home." Having hope can change your whole perspective of life. No matter what you go through in life, whatever it is that you're facing at this moment, or at any moment for that matter, one of the most important things is that Satan cannot take away your hope from you. Hope of your final destination, that is heaven. When you forget where you're going, you get affected by what you're going through. Because when you lose hope, you call to mind all the negative thoughts, which leads to a negative life. This life is not even a drop in the ocean of the life that is in store for us in heaven, in respect to time and in respect to abundance. You see this? This is a definition of hope, a feeling of expectation and desire for a particular thing to happen. Now, let us look at when Joseph reveals himself to his brothers. That's in Genesis 45. He sends everybody out so that no one was around when he reveals himself to his brothers. And then we see in Genesis 45, 3-5 says, Joseph said to his brothers, I am Joseph. Is my father still alive? But his brothers could not answer him. So dismayed were they at his presence. Then Joseph said to his brothers, Come closer to me. And they came closer. He said, I am your brother Joseph, whom you sold into Egypt. And now do not be distressed or angry with yourselves, because you sold me here. For God sent me before you to preserve life. Then he goes to explain how. But why are we looking at this verse? It's because here, at this point, I am your brother Joseph, whom you sold into Egypt. He was betrayed. He was abandoned. He was in a situation that seemed to be of no hope. The situation was caused by their actions. But we read on further. Because you sold me here, for God sent me before you to preserve life. For God sent me. Boom. Their action surely caused the situation, but God's hand never left Joseph. He was in control the whole time. The situation does not determine your life. The God that is in control of the situation does. It is all about how you look at it. But you see, God did not instantly change the situation for Joseph. It took a while before things started to work out for him. But what did Joseph do? He kept his faith. He continued to hope in the Lord because he knew that his feeling of expectation and desire for a particular thing to happen was in the hands of his God. Hence, he continued to hope. Many times in life, we lose hope. We feel hopeless because of the situation not changing. But what we don't realize is that while God isn't changing the situation on the outside, He's changing us on the inside. He's building our endurance. He's building our faith. He's building us for the palace that He has planned for us. Just because you do not see the situation change on the outside, do not lose hope in Him that lives on the inside. Our one and only P for today is persevere. Persevere in hope. Continue in hope, even in the face of difficulty. Do not stop hoping. Hope is so important. Hebrews 1:11. Now faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. In order to have faith, you need to hope. Hope that God will come through for you. And faith is the assurance that it will happen. You hope for something, you pray to God. Then you wait in faith that it will be done according to His will. And His will is always the best for you. It all starts with hope. St. Augustine said, Hope has two daughters. Their names are anger and courage. Anger at the way things are, and courage to see that they do not remain as they are. Have that powerful kind of hope that upsets you for the situation you're in, but at the same time, be brave and have faith that God is changing it for you because He loves you. Be hopeful, be blessed. Peace. What's an email ID? You mean like pservermuthu@gmail.com? Yeah, I know it.